John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FANation? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook live show. We are looking at today's DraftKings main slate, 8 games on our main slate. We don't have the 10 p.m. tonight. I'm wondering if DraftKings is like allowing just all in-season tournament games to be on the main slate, which I guess is kind of cool. But we got 8 games for us here starting at 7 o'clock Eastern time. We have a lot of injury news that has come already and a lot that is still to come today. So it will be interesting as to whether or not we get some of this news before roster lock in 7 p.m. Eastern time. Late night hammers an 8 p.m. game. So we'll have these all out and early for everybody. But yeah, some big news throughout the day. The Knicks, all of the Knicks point guards are questionable for today. Brunson, McBride, and Payne.
Whoa, not all of them. There is one rookie that was cooking during summer league, so not all of them.
It's true. Dame Lillard gets ruled out. Rollins questionable. We weren't sure if Rollins was going to play after leaving yesterday's game with an injury. He is questionable here for tonight. Jared Allen went through shoot around. He's questionable. Fred VanVleet is questionable for tonight as well. We'll see what happens.
Pistons, just blanket statement, nightmare.
No Ivy, no Hardaway, no Fontecchio for Detroit here tonight. So we'll see what happens with that. Boston has no Al Horford this evening. Philadelphia, no Paul George, no Joel Embiid. Andre Drummond questionable to play tonight against Cleveland. So
what are we doing?
There is a
no, that's late slate.
Yeah, late. And if we have the 10 p.m., if you play on FanDuel, good luck with Portland and Minnesota. Portland ruling out their entire front court essentially.
Plus Simons. Yeah,
plus Simons, and then no Mike Conley over there for Minnesota on the back-to-back. So yes, very interesting slate that we have, and we appreciate you all tuning in. If you want to hit that like, that share, that subscribe button, it's a free way to support the work we do here over at Fantasy Alarm. Love you guys. Popping in, Jeff in the chat saying, let's do it. Albert saying, what are we doing? Michael, can we spend 45 seconds covering FanDuel? We do talk a little FanDuel, as we just did right now.
Let me get the timer. Hold on. I'll get the timer set.
But we appreciate that you found us this week, and we love that you're hanging with us, man. Like we go live every day. We do the preview shows in the morning. And we do talk a little FanDuel because we play over there. Because, FanDuel, you can build whatever your lineup you dream of. So, we will talk some FanDuel for you, my friend. We have a couple of regulars. I'm sure the Prince will pop in here at some time. I know Anthony plays on FanDuel. So we'll talk some FanDuel. That's fine.
Okay, 45 seconds on the clock when we're ready. That's all you're allotted, Michael, but welcome. 45 seconds, but welcome.
Have it at Dwayne in the chat, and then our guy Justin in the chat as well. A lot of you guys are in our Discord. If you're not in our Discord, though, you got that 7-day free trial right there. Go get your 7-day free trial today, and come join our Discord. Check out all of our content over at Fantasy Alarm, and we'll have get you guys all ready and set up to go. We were in that Discord channel today, just throwing all the injury news in there and kind of talking about which direction we might end up finding ourselves going. Dez, love it. Happy to have you in the chat. And then Chris is always chasing that 100K over on FanDuel. We'll hit that for you here, my friend. Sooner or later this year, we'll hit that 100K for you.
Yes, and we will spend, Christopher, I don't know if you just tuned in, but 45 seconds today on FanDuel. It's a treat for all the FanDuel players. Maybe we have more FanDuel players than we do DraftKings players. I'm starting to realize.
FanDuel changed their NBA product a little bit this year. Maybe it is attracting a few more, few more souls over there. I won 60K week 4.
Where you been, bro?
Where you been, my bud? Love that. That must be over our NFL DFS, man. I do our NFL DFS playbooks. We had a good week last week, too. Jalen Hurts just continues to ride us through week after week, and nobody plays Jalen Hurts. I don't know why. I get it. He's expensive, but the man is a running back playing quarterback. So
people refuse to acknowledge the tush push, John.
The tush push continues to be a sacrifice. And then Bowers plays on FanDuel. We know this. So he had a good day the other day with us. I'll tell you what, last night, Steph Curry pushed all my lines across the cash line. And you know what? Grateful for that late news because I was on Luka. You and I were talking about it. I was on Luka Doncic, played Luka Doncic. It was like a Luka, Grayson Allen lineup. And then Luka all of a sudden that report comes out, game time decision. And I'm like, oof, like that's a little scary. I pivoted and I went to Steph Curry and like D'Anthony Melton, I think ended up being the swap. And then Curry goes for 67 fantasy points. So that was awesome. Dwayne, how do we feel about Giannis? Because he didn't pay off yesterday. You still play him.
Yep.
Still 1.9 fantasy points per minute without Dame.
Yep.
That's just what you're going to do. Let's beat SaberSim. I mean, you know, I would. They're good. SaberSim's good. They got some good data. You know, we'll just leave it at that. Well, I agree. Let's beat all those SaberSim logos. I'm with you there, my friend. And Jalen Hurts. Dez, you're a Jalen Hurts guy. So this is an NBA DFS show, though. We'll get into the slate here. I gotta pull it up. I gotta do my job and actually pull up the things that we're showing on the board for y'all. Let's see here. Get it going. Our guy Cody Cook did the playbook. That's live over at FanDuel. You can check that out. Got all his hot takes for today's hot plays. There we go. We talked this morning, SGA. $10,600. Guy went off absolutely insane the other day, 77 fantasy points. We said on this show, those of you who tuned in to the live stream, we talked about it. We said, no Chet Holmgren. Like, there's a really good chance we get the numbers we saw out of SGA last year when he was just taking over games. Clippers, he took him over 45 and 9, 5 steals, 2 blocks, 77 fantasy points. Now, this is a slate that has SGA home against the Pelicans. We got Giannis running it back against Detroit. Didn't have to play a whole bunch of minutes last night, right? Didn't get the full 40 minute that we thought we were going to get in these in-season tournament games. And then we got Wemby fresh off a 70 fantasy point game himself at home against the Wizards. When it comes to spending up, knowing that there's going to be a lot of value now on this slate, particularly at the guards position, do you find yourself looking to plug in SGA today?
I mean, you definitely can. They're still shorthanded. They only got more shorthanded this morning when they ruled out Alex Caruso. So if you think that this game is going to be competitive enough, which, again, we saw, I think you never know when a blowout's going to happen, who's going to blow anyone out. We saw Atlanta outright beat the Celtics in Boston last night. Right?
Sure did.
It is. So it's hard to sit here and say, well, New Orleans is going to get absolutely torched. There is a possibility. They're 14.5-point road dogs in Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City's obviously been one of the better teams in the conference. But, Oklahoma City obviously is deficient in one specific place right now. They don't have size. They have a 6'7", small forward playing center with a large wingspan, sure. But, so they could keep it close. And if they keep it close, we just saw SGA come off his career best 45 fantasy or 45 actual points. One assist shy of a double-double in that game, played 40 minutes. So, yeah, I have no problem getting to SGA if that's where your lineup construction takes you. He's the second highest rostered spend up, of those 3 guys you talked about. Giannis, people are still going right back to the well. I think, we talk about recency bias. People are getting smarter. Okay, people are getting smarter. They also see Giannis and be like, can just go right back to the well, not a problem. But SGA being the second highest rostered, some leverage, maybe spending off Giannis. I think there's case you could play them both, just given the value on the board. So if you want to spend up on SGA, by all means do so.
All right, we just got an ownership update as well, guys. Again, I'll update the ownership on site once we are done with today's show. So make sure you're in that Fantasy Alarm Discord. I'll drop that link in for everybody once we're done here for today. So SGA is up there. Again, James Harden gets Houston. We know he's been a guy that can flirt with triple doubles. What do we got for Kade here today, though? No Jaden Ivey, no Tim Hardaway Jr., no Simone Fontecchio. Obviously, Kade is their number one guy anyways, but Jaden Ivey is having a really good season to this point, going up against a Milwaukee team that is not great defensively. Kade's been giving us some triple-double numbers here. $9,000 for him. I mean, you got to think that comparatively price-wise, one of the better values on the board, right?
It's always interesting to me, and I always find it, these are good leverage spots. Not that Kade's unowned. He's about 15% or so. I always find it interesting when you look and it's people are ruled out on a team and all the value are the only people that are getting any relative ownership bumps, not the best player on the team, right? This is a guy who's almost gone for 50 in 5 straight games. He's gone for at least 44 fantasy points in 5 straight. You talked about the triple doubles, 3 in his last 4, or 3 in his last 5 rather. And like, he's been elite basically all year long. He's playing big minutes. He's taking all the shots and all the peripheral stats. 32% usage rate without Jaden Ivey this year. 1.4 fantasy points per minute. And he's moderately owned.
Yep.
So it's one of those situations where Shorey's on a back-to-back. So is Milwaukee. And you talked about it. Milwaukee not good defensively, bottom half of the league in terms of defense. They're also 13th in pace. So, Detroit 24th, good pace up spot for Detroit as well. So, yeah, I mean, while the field, I'm not saying the field is wrong with the way that they're flocking. I like Ron Holland, and I like potentially using min-salary Marcus Sasser.
Yeah.
Holland was a lottery pick, Sasser first-round pick last year. Like, we've seen Sasser be productive in instance. Holland has looked good at times, and they're very shorthanded. But, like, Kade being so low-owned, he has a 60 fantasy point ceiling without Jaden Ivey, without Tim Hardaway. So, yeah, I'm highly intrigued by Kade. One of my favorite 9K and up plays per dollar on the board.
Even less ownership for Kade over on FanDuel, and he's the same price.
Right.
You
don't get the triple double. Well, you also don't get the triple double.
True. The bonuses,
and double bonuses.
Yeah. But like, we're talking about 50% less ownership on DraftKings.
Sure. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yep. So again, we'll get that over there. You know what, Grande, you mentioned the show. We might have a lot more FanDuel players. As the Prince pops in here, you might be right. We might have a lot more FanDuel players in the chat than we have DraftKings. But that's fine. We appreciate you. The analysis carries over here.
Drop it in the chat. What do you guys play out there? We got like 250 people in here and counting. Like, do you guys play FanDuel? Do you play DraftKings? Like, what do you guys like to play?
Do you guys do underdog battle royals? Would you be interested in some battle royal content? Let us know, man. We'll do whatever you guys want. We're happy to serve the people. If you guys will show up and watch it, we'll do the content. So, Chris, lineup's not terrible. Obviously, Delano Banton. We love some Banton there. I'm gonna play some big minutes off the bench. I am not in really on Tyrese Halliburton. Matchup against Orlando, Jalen Suggs. I get it. He's coming off 65. He's had a lot more like bad games than good games. So, like, what are you feeling here, man, on Halliburton? The price obviously is crazy, right? Because we know what the ceilings are. Probably makes him a great tournament play. But I don't know. Against Suggs, against Orlando, we just saw this matchup. He didn't play well.
I think it's a tournament play. Truthfully, like, it's just hard to imagine. A lot of DK, by the way. You know what? Salute to DK Nation out there.
First of all, a lot of DK. Also, absolutely love all these new commenters are in here. Just like, all the lurkers. We talk about the lurkers all the time. We appreciate you guys just tuning in, getting the information. You don't need to say anything. Certainly don't need to say. I play Yahoo. Deds, I say this all the time.
Banned for life.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Des, I have money on FanDuel on Yahoo that I literally forget about every single time until somebody in chat says they play on Yahoo. Then I'm like, I got like $50 over there. Like, I got to go back playing Yahoo DFS. So
Des is the nicest guy ever. Comes in the chat sends his blessings every day, yet just completely banned from FanDuel and DraftKings.
So, anyways, we appreciate all you guys topping in. And Mr. Dom in here. Our guy Don,
Don's always in chat.
New name, new photo. We appreciate the new commenters. If you guys will ever have questions, don't be afraid. Yep. Throw them in here. We'll certainly help you guys out. So,
Halliburton tournaments only, by the way.
Tournament only for Halliburton. Agreed. My cat's trying to get in the show right now. Hold on. We'll move her down a little bit. Brunson's 86 questionable for tonight. Ingram with the dual positional eligibility. And then Donnie Mitch here coming off of a big game, but now Philly could be very shorthanded. Thoughts sort of on the rest of this 8K range?
Could be. They are just doomed. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting tier. I'm in on Ingram. my thoughts just don't change in general when a team's shorthanded. They're even more shorthanded now with Alvarado out. He took 24 shots. He played 35 minutes. He almost doubled, and he's good really in a lot of different places. So they stay in this game and they stay competitive in this game if Brandon Ingram plays well. So of course there's interest there. Brunson, if he plays, I'm interested. We talked about this. Literally the best pace up advantage you can possibly have. Chicago is the first ranked number 1 in pace by a significant margin. The Knicks are last in pace by a significant margin. So if Brunson were to play, then I'm intrigued. Obviously, there's a little hindrance here with Jalen Brunson because he left that game with the ankle. There's a confirmed sprain with the ankle. So I'm not even sure if I'm leaning that Jalen Brunson plays or not. And if he does, I'd expect there to be full run, but a sprained ankle is never a fun thing and something that could swell like during the game, right? I mean,
return it, could anything get happen.
Right. So, and Mitchell, we know, has a ceiling, hasn't flashed it a lot this year, did last game. This is obviously a good spot for him, and if Philly can keep it competitive, there's a lot of upside, but Cleveland is not afraid to play their bench this year. I feel like that's been a thing that we've seen a lot from them this year, where they haven't had to extend their starters very often. And if this game gets out of hand, it's going to be another one of those.
Yeah, it's 11.5 point spread right now. Cavs road favorites, 218 and a half total there. One of a couple of games in double-digit spreads. The other one, OKC, is given 14 and a half, given over 2 touchdowns tonight to the Pelicans. So Wizards Spurs, that lines up to 10 and a half now too. But didn't we talk about that this morning? It was 7.5.
Yeah, it was.
That lines up to 10 and a half now for Wizards Spurs. So
interesting.
All right, guys in this mid-range, 7K and under. Anybody pop out? I mean, we talked some Giddy last night, 6,700 with Levine, and he's filling out the stat sheet. You know, someone's got to play on Chicago, right?
Yeah, I mean, the Bulls are interesting-ish. They're just I would say blanket statement. My sentiment from last year carried over now to a fully healthy Bulls team. They're interesting in tournaments. Giddy has a ceiling. Kobe White has a ceiling. Levine has a ceiling now that he's playing 35 minutes. Like, they all have ceilings. So,
yeah.
But I would not play probably any of them in cash games.
With all the value, do you find yourself getting to any of these mid-tier options, or are you just going down into this like sub 5K range where you have Castle, McCain, maybe McBride? You mentioned Jerome as a dark throw this morning. Jalen Noel is getting ownership love as a guy that could start for Alvarado tonight. If everybody gets out and campaigns in, it could be campaign. Rollins is still $3,000, who was popping off last night.
Sasser's 3K.
Sasser is 3K. And then you mentioned a Nick. That might be starting as well if everybody's ruled out.
Yeah, Tyler Kolek. I mean, Tyler Kolek is really good on a per minute basis, but it's just TBD on that, because to get to Kolek, you need McBride, you need Payne, and you need Brunson out.
Yep.
Because, again, Tibbs actually played a 9th man. Did you see that last night? Shout out Matt Ryan from.
Yep. Hey, they signed him. They needed some
signed
space.
him, played him, but he played 9 minutes. That was their 9th guy. He played 9 minutes. Yeah, I mean, I'm very intrigued. I personally, Sasser, I do think plays. I am a little shocked at 50% of the field getting there, because I don't think he starts. I think the starting lineup that they go with, they're down Hardaway, they're down Ivy. I think they're down Fontecchio. I mean, I think Malik Beasley and Ron Holland make the most sense as your.
Yeah, Beasley entered that game for THJ yesterday when he left with the injury. So my assumption right away is Beasley starts for the Hardaway spot.
And Holland has been in the rotation all year.
Yeah.
And Sasser has barely been dusted off. I mean, he played 20 minutes in the Knicks game because it was a blowout.
Yeah.
He's played 5 minutes in every other game this year. So it's not like this is a guy that has been regularly playing. And I'm not saying that matters, but he's 50% rostered, which is telling me that the expectation is that he starts. And I don't think that's the case. I think Malik Beasley and Ron Holland, who was their lottery pick this year, is just the simple answer because those two players have been firmly playing every night. So I think Sasser is definitely the riskier of the 3K like punty options. We said it. I mean, Ryan Rollins was not as highly owned as
No.
I think we thought he would be last night.
25, right? Something like that.
He had 34 fantasy points in 22 minutes. And he obviously benefited from a bunch of steals and stuff. But he took, I said it to you, he had like 9 shots in the first quarter. His first shift was 9 minutes, 9 shots. So if he were to play, this is the guy you want.
Yeah.
The expectation is that he's going to play. At least that's what he said after the game when he was interviewed, that he's going to play, which is why I think the ownership is coming in on him the way it is. So
yeah, and I think once official lineups come out, like if we see Sasser's not in there for Detroit, and we may not know by the time roster's locked, like that ownership might come down pretty heavily on him, and you might just see more people just plug Sasser and Holland, like more than they already are almost. I think you'll see less of a field looking to play 50% of a guy coming off a bench, if he's not in the starting lineup. So
and then people will just, another point guard, shooting guard, Jared McCain is like the obvious today. Like that's going to be everyone's favorite play, despite the Cleveland matchup.
I was going to say, despite the fact that he has a high bust probability given the matchup, but I mean, the Knicks, like you said, super slow pace, generally really, pretty good defensively. And he went out there and 23 points, 7 of 16. So like this dude could just
opportunity, right? It's just opportunity.
That, but he also could just be a bucket, right? Like he's making the shots, so he didn't go Brandon Miller us shoot 2 for 18, like
he didn't. And no PG, no Embiid. I mean, dude, they just have to have him.
Yeah, him and Oubre, right? Just
if they think that they're gonna be competitive, which you're an NBA team, like I know they like the public thinks they're punting the game, but they're still probably thinking like, yeah, we can win. We just need you to take 25 shots tonight. Yeah, I think Jared McCain, there's a reason why he's the 3rd highest roster player this league right now.
Agreed. Yep, I agree. And I said, I also don't mind getting the Castle if you want to pivot off McCain. Like he's playing the 30+ minutes. He's on a really good spot. If San Antonio goes into a blowout mode, like I would imagine Castle's still on the floor here. Over a guy like Vassell that just came back from an injury, and Keldon Johnson and Wemby and all them, like those guys would sit. And I think Castle would be someone that's just out there playing, until the final maybe 4 minutes and they sub him out or something like that. So, and he gets that Washington matchup. So I like Castle almost at the same price point as well, in that spot. Shooting guard. A lot of these guys we have touched on. You got Jaylen Brown up here at $8,100. He was the guy to have yesterday in that matchup against Atlanta. Went for 46 fantasy points, 37 actual. In that one. Derek White was also really good. You got Green. Norm Powell's been fantastic. What are we doing here? Top half of shooting guard.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen's fine. Like per dollar, I'd probably just play Derek White than Jalen on most nights, just with how good Derek White is.
Yeah, 50 fantasy points.
I mean, he's just better. Like Jalen's obviously an elite scorer. Derek White has taken a big leap there, but Derek White is just simply better in other areas, at least for fantasy purposes.
Remember going into the fourth quarter, I was looking at his 3+ 3-point prop, and then he hit 7.
Yeah, and then he hit 7. He's
missed opportunity on that one, dear James. Missed opportunity.
I would go back to the Jalen Green. Well, he'll be loaned if there's no Fred VanVleet. It's not like the best matchup against the Clippers, but he is a high usage rate player, has a high scoring ceiling. So if VanVleet's ruled out, I'm okay getting Jalen Green. Love Norm. Don't love the matchup, but that hasn't mattered against quite literally anybody. I mean, OKC is a really good defensive team. He's torched them twice. He scored 37 points in Denver in altitude the second game of the year, right? It's just like, this is a different version of Norm that we haven't been able to see because he's been buried on teams' benches and 5th options and whatnot. And we've always seen glimpses when he gets the opportunity, but like he's their leading scorer. He's scoring more, like considerably more than Harden a night. So I think 7,200 for Norm Powell, as long as he continues to be 1A scorer, he's definitely in play.
Agreed. We're going our way down the list. We got Ben Matherin and Brandon Boston both here at the same price tag. Boston played 35 minutes, had to, because, again, there was no Alvarado for a lot of that game, and he was good statistically, right? 3 steals, 10 assists, 7 rebounds, had a floor shooting game, 3 for 13. This isn't going to be an easy matchup for him against the Thunder, but again, I think the minutes are pretty secure. And then you have Matherin, who's gone nutty, had a good game against Orlando, actually pulled out the double-double against them. He is also $6,000. Do you have a preference of Matherin versus Boston here?
What do you think? What do you make of like projections and ownership being pretty far off on them? Boston being significantly higher owned and with a better projection than Matherin. Wouldn't you consider this to be like a pretty equally bad spot for both teams? They're facing the top. One of them is facing number 1 rated defense. The other one's facing the number 2 rated defense in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Both of guys are going to play big minutes. I would say Ben Matherin has the infinitely higher scoring ceiling than Brandon Boston. So usually I would just take that. And it's not like Indiana isn't shorthanded either, right?
Right.
Are people getting to Brandon Boston because New Orleans are shorthanded? Sure. Completely agree. Indiana's down 2 of their top 5 2 starters, right? And Aaron Nesmith and Andrew Nembhard. So I look at it from that perspective. I'll take the ownership discount on Matherin because I think I'm confident that he will end the night with more shot attempts than Brandon Boston. And usually when Ben Matherin takes a lot of shots, that results in a lot of points or a lot of free throws or both. And so I'll take Matherin at lower ownership than Boston.
And again, defensively, like they both kind of have their hands full. Brandon Boston's going to have Dort, all over him. And then Matherin's going to deal with KCP, probably defending him in that game. So again, both are at 6K.
Boston might see Shea just depending on we don't know what New Orleans lineup's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, Justin asked us on Noel. Again, if Noel starts, like a lot of people are going to end up playing him because of his price tag. And it's been a couple seasons now, but when Noel was coming off the bench for Minnesota, like that dude was a bucket. We're wondering why he wasn't playing more. So
yeah.
Obviously hasn't really shown that through yet in any of his mini stints with Memphis last year or this year. He was actually pretty good yesterday or 2 days ago whenever he filled in for Alvarado. Eamon Thompson, again, if we don't know the FanVleet news, yes, price bump, but he went for 40. So if he goes for 40 at 58, that's still paying off what we're looking for here. I would have no problem getting to him. It's just whether or not we have the news, whether or not you build a lineup that allows you to pivot to Eamon Thompson once these rosters lock, right?
Yep, that's basically what it comes down to. I have interest, but we just probably won't know Fred VanVleet news in time.
Agreed. AJ Green could be starting. Sorry, not could be starting. Did start. Played 30 minutes. Took all of every shot. He only takes threes. 7 for 9, 4 for 6.
Has he taken a 2 this year? He has not taken one singular 2-point shot.
Not taken a singular 2-point shot yet.
52%, by the way.
This one doesn't count because he got fouled and shot free throws. So,
wow, he took 2 free throws. I'm surprised it wasn't 3 for 3.
So he's shooting 50% from 3 this year, only shooting threes. 49.
It's kind of crazy, no? That's all Milwaukee's been asking for anybody to shoot, and they've had the sniper on their team the whole time.
Sometimes it just takes them dusting these guys off, right? Yeah. So, anyways.
Yeah, for sure.
It's gonna start. Can play Detroit. It's gonna shoot threes. Castle again. We liked Dort. We played Dort the other day. 27 fantasy points, 19 actual. Another guy shooting some threes pretty well this year. Not gonna sit here and probably argue too much. Do you think he guards Ingram?
Probably.
Okay.
It's usually Dort on opposing team best wing player.
Sure. Got ISO Joe. Got McCann.
ISO Joe. The ISO Joe is he the new ISO Joe?
Might as well be. It's close enough.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Well, you gotta. Those are some stripes that need to be earned.
It's true.
ISO Joe.
Gotta earn the ISO Joe stripes. That's true. Shout out Joe Johnson.
Shout out Joe Johnson.
Again, McCain's there. McBride, if he's in and Jalen Brunson's out, like we'll love to play that at 4,300. Pace out spot for Deuce here.
Yep.
Beasley.
It's been good. Revenge. He's wearing the Bucks jersey in the picture.
So I wrote up not Prize Picks, well, Prize Picks as well, but underdog play today. I went first quarter, 3.5 points for Malik Beasley. We'll see how if he starts, he needs 2 buckets against Milwaukee. Like, he shoots threes. Like I can see him getting over 3.5 points in the first quarter here. But he's been good off their bench, and he's been playing a whole lot of minutes as it is anyway. So $4,200 Beasley is a core play. For me, you're gonna be able to get 2 studs in your lineup. I built a couple lineups today. Like you're just jamming value in, and you can make it work. Anybody's for you, Daniel? No.
We talked Noel. We've talked some of the cheaper 3K names. Nothing else that stands out.
Small forward. Got JT up here at 10-3. Gave you 44 fantasy points, but not really good enough at this price point here. What do you think we got going on right now for the rest of the small forward position?
Tatum's fine. Really like whatever spot against Brooklyn. I like Ingram. I love Franz Wagner. $8,500 continues to smash. They continue to be in blowouts, so we're not even getting like full run. I mean, he would have gone for 60. He would have gone for 60 in that Charlotte game yesterday if that was competitive. But it wasn't. He has to get taken out 55 fantasy points. It's a really good spot. Again, big pace-up spot for Orlando. So I like Franz Wagner, 8,500. Yeah, Andrew, I agree. I am highly intrigued. We have talked about it for a few slates. It's like, and unfortunately, every game that they've played, except the first Indiana matchup, has been a blowout. I mean, they have been on the wrong side and the good side of blowouts in every game since Paolo has been out. And we have had one glimpse of what Franz could do. They're in 39 minutes. He took 23 shots and nearly double-doubled with 6 assists. Like he is an elite peripheral stat guy, a lot of 3-point volume, and I figured the 3-point shot would tank from where it was in the earlier, or the percentage would, but he takes a lot of them. And he's a 30+% usage rate player without Paolo. So I love Franz, 85.
Yeah, they don't have Eastmith to defend him either. So
yeah, and Nembhard or like any real like Siakam is a good defender, but that's tough. That's a tough ask. If this, if you need 40 minutes as Siakam, hey dude, like go be our 1B or sometimes 1A scorer while also guarding their best player.
Well, that's what it is. That's why they throw Nesmith on the best guy and they let Siakam focus offensively, right? So
exactly. So yeah, I think Franz above like $7,000 is probably the top dog. I gotta ask though, like we did not talk Kelly Oubre, and I fully understand Kelly Oubre. 1 is too expensive. 2 has just been like so mediocre this year. Their only chance is if Kelly Oubre is like 25 plus points, right? Like that is the only chance. And we've talked about this a bunch. Like they are simply without their 3 best players. Like the best player's out, their second best player out, third best player. Like just flat out, their 3 best players are out.
Yep.
If they're going to keep it competitive, this guy has to score a lot of points.
He probably needs to take the most shots on this team tonight.
Right.
Him and McCain. But I think Oubre should be a guy they look to lean to a little bit more.
Would you play him?
No.
No interest whatsoever.
I have 0 Kelly Oubre.
0 Kelly Oubre in your lineups, but interest is what?
Very minimal.
Okay.
I just don't like the matchup. Now, I've been wrong on this a lot this year. Guys I said I've not played. And Dyson Daniels went for 50 yesterday. I was like, I'm not going to play Dyson Daniels versus the Celtics. They're big underdogs. Like, he goes out there, has like 7 steals. And I was like, oh, there you go.
I mean, it's obviously, I'm not like at all sitting here saying it's a good spot.
I'd rather play Josh Hart at 6,600 than Kelly Oubre at 7K.
Well, yeah, sure.
So like that's why I'm not getting them. I think there are safer or better options, regardless of his situation, right?
Yeah,
if Jalen Brunson doesn't play, Ryan asks, is he going to play? We don't know yet. if Jalen Brunson doesn't play, he had 10 assists, 6 assists, 7 assists. Like, we're talking about all these other point guards. And I said in the chat, are we going to get Point Hart tonight?
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean,
right?
yeah.
Like,
I mean, you can play Josh Hart
anywhere.
With or without Brunson.
Yeah.
I just think it's an interesting.
Ben Simmons out tonight. Dorian Finney-Smith out tonight.
So we will get Zaire, who is shooting guard eligible, back in the starting lineup.
Yep. Connie will get the minutes he got last game as well.
And they played a bunch of Keon Johnson the other day.
Okay.
I'm assuming Keon Johnson will probably absorb some more minutes. Simmons played low 20s, and Keon Johnson played 18. So we'll get extra run for Keon Johnson, extra run for Jalen Wilson. Zaire Williams will start and probably approach 30 minutes. So those are your beneficiaries to the Simmons and Finney-Smith news.
The Prince core plays on the playbook are more site agnostic than they are site specific. So those are just the general players that we're looking to build lineups around, not really taking price too much into consideration there. There's obviously the value, mid-tier, and top price guys, but for the most part, not really looking at DraftKings or FanDuel specifically, unless is a FanDuel only play because they're not on the DraftKings slate in which we specify FanDuel only there. So, but again, Hart was one of my favorite plays. I see through you, Justin here says an Obi as well. I mean, yeah, man. Again, since I said I wasn't playing an Obi, he's been balling out. I had him yesterday in lineups. He was great. I'll keep running him out there. So I'm fine. The price tag's not moving on him. So
Jeff Dowden is my younger cousin. Jeff Dowden is interesting. He played as their backup point guard last night. He was operating. Dude, Reggie Jackson is completely dead.
Yep.
Not even going to hit the floor. Not even going to sniff the floor. Eric Gordon didn't even sniff the floor, and they played Dowden over him. He was in the first. He had first quarter run last night. So, one, that's really cool, Van, that Jeff Dowden's your cousin. Two, how early on did you know that he was going to be a professional basketball player, and how young was he when you were like, wow, that guy's he's already better than me at basketball.
He's got the Mike pumps on, and he's out here.
He's the who Van or Jeff Dowden had the
Mike pumps? He's younger cousin, so maybe he was in second grade. He's out here with the Michael Jordan shoes on here, looking great. Drummond ruled out tonight due to.
We are getting a.
How long does Yabu play in this game?
All the minutes.
Well,
they have Adam Bona. Adam Bona is their other center that they'll run out there.
I was more so talking about we've seen him fall out of games in 12 minutes this year, Yabu. So,
listen,
going up against Evan Mobley and Jared Allen tonight.
Listen, they need to fix his picture. He's still a Celtic, and they need to get the fro and the headband combination.
Well, we just had Kelly Oubre in a Hornets jersey, so the DraftKings is not paying.
That's fair.
Not paying the fees to get these updated photos out here. So
that's fair.
Where were we? We're on small forward, yeah.
No, we were on small forward, yeah.
Okay. Again, liked Hart. Again, talked about it. Cam J, $6,300 against Boston. Talked Matherin already. Talked Damon and Obi. Tari Easton's 5K now. What are your thoughts on getting to Tari now that he's up to 5K?
I mean, I'm good with it in a tournament.
That play was almost a snowflake. We talked about this on the morning.
He is a lightning rod.
Final 90 seconds of that game, we went off here.
He is a really good fantasy point per minute player. So when he is having a game, he will play over Jabari Smith, right?
Yeah.
They will play him over Jabari Smith. So if he's not having a good game, they won't. They'll split. So I don't know. He's always interesting in tournaments for me.
Agreed. All right. Small forward value plays, Aaron Wiggins, Lou Dort in this range. Dylan Brooks is someone you talked about. He's 4,200 if there's no Van Vliet. No Van Vliet tonight. What else are we looking at here, small forward?
Ron Holland is $3,000.
Yeah.
and he hasn't been the best fantasy point per minute player this year. He's had a few games. He had a really up and down preseason. But I think, he is someone who is willing to shoot the basketball a bunch when he's on the floor.
Mhm.
And he was the 4th overall pick or whatever, I think 4th overall pick. So, yeah, I mean, it's an interesting play at $3,000.
Fifth overall pick.
5th overall pick, sorry. He's been about a 0.7 fantasy point per minute guy without Jaden Ivey and Tim Hardaway. So, but it's like a 70-minute sample. So I'd be willing to, if Holland's in the starting lineup, it'd be something I'd be willing to take a look at. Like, I would rather play a 3K Holland in the starting lineup than a 3K Sasser on the bench. And I also feel like guard just has so many better value plays. So
Sure.
we haven't said the same about the small forward position, where like there's just all these clear cut value plays everywhere. So yeah, I mean, I think Holland at 3K makes a bunch of sense. You had mentioned KJ Martin as someone. He didn't play the other day, but he has played low 20s minutes in a bunch of different games. If he were to find his way into the starting lineup, I think KJ Martin is someone that is an option, but he would have to be starting for me to like
Sure.
really even consider it, because he's just
I mean, there's a chance he starts a power forward tonight with Yabu starting at center. So
yeah, he's just if he doesn't, he's a DMP risk.
sure. Power forward then. Giannis is 11.5. We talked about that already today. Like, certainly willing to run right back to the well. Yes, he can let us down. 23, 4, 7, 4 blocks, 44 fantasy points in 33 minutes. All the shots somehow disappeared. Don't know what he was doing. He was just playing passively, which, I mean, I guess, right? Like, no point guard. So he had 7 assists in that game. Like, maybe that had a little bit to do with it. Jalen Brunson will be a game time decision tonight. That game is at 7:30. So hopefully we'll get that before 7:01. And
So is Miles McBride, and so is Cam Payne. Yep. All 3 of them are game time.
All 3 are probably going to play just to like waste our time.
That's usually what happens. It's usually tips, right? He like says probable players are game time decisions, and it's like, oh, actually, no, they're good.
Yeah.
Oh, they're good. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, dude. All right. I mean, if Jared Allen ends up sitting out because he was questionable, I know he went through work like shoot around, but if all of a sudden Cleveland's like, well, there's no anybody now playing for Philly, maybe they just run Mobley out there. Mobley will dominate this matchup. He might dominate anyways. I know we struggled getting the correct night for the Cleveland Cavs, but this front court is setting up to be something pretty tonight.
If you have some crystal ball that you're looking at to tell me that if Mobley's going to dominate a matchup he should dominate in, good for you. And I wish you shared that crystal ball with me a month ago.
Sharing with you right now.
Because I've been continuously playing Jared Allen. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a great spot. If you want to play Evan Mobley, there is a lot of upside with that play.
Yeah. 1 minute ago, Nick Nurse has hinted at some Impemba action tonight.
Yeah.
Looking to get bigger. So
yeah, I just updated the projections on Fantasy Alarm. I gave Bona 18 minutes. I think he's just the backup at this point. They are now down the starter, the backup, and now the backup to the backup is the starter, and the backup to the backup to the backup is now Adam Bona, mm-hmm. And he's probably just settled in for like your run-of-the-mill 18-minute backup run. So, yeah, I gave him 18 minutes for the projections here.
Apparently, Ben Simmons had an MRI on his calf, so this guy just cannot.
Oh, boy. Here we go again.
Just cannot stay healthy here. All right, other mid-tier options. I mean, Kuzma came back, he had 18 points, played 24 minutes.
Took a million shots.
If there's no minutes restriction tonight, I mean, this is a good spot for Kuzma at 7,200.
Don't hate it. I don't hate it. I obviously there's a little bit of a minutes restriction. I think that's pretty clear, but I'm okay with it.
Yep. Let's see. Toby's in super steady. You can play him if you want today. Even against Milwaukee, I'm fine getting there.
1.2 fantasy points per minute without Ivy and Hardaway this year. It's very small sample, but like
super steady.
Yep, gonna play high 30s minutes and flirt with a double-double. And the only thing that has to be considered here is that he's guarding Giannis. That would be, the matchup is not the most favorable for Tobias Harris, but yeah.
I agree. Where are we with Trey Murphy here tonight? He did play 26 minutes. He took 14 shots, had 21 fantasy points at 6K. He's a little bit cheaper now. I think maybe the minutes are on the way up from the 26, just considering that probably being a baseline tonight. If he hits more shots, obviously that means more fantasy points. No obvious analysis there, but what are our thoughts for Murphy?
My thoughts are that he is an incredibly streaky shooter, and in 28 to 30 minutes, he can make 8 threes, but he's also only played one game this year, and he was obviously rusty in that game. So for a guy who didn't really play in the preseason and now is like basically working on shaking the rust in the NBA, it's, would you do that, or would you rather? It's like your Josh Hart versus Oubre thing, where OG is $100 cheaper, playing every minute possible, and has been truthfully just really, really good and consistent offensively. So yeah, I would rather just play OG, but Murphy obviously has a super high ceiling. Could we just make a case for? I know Caleb Martin hasn't really made a lot of shots. He did make shots yesterday. Another guy who's just playing infinite amounts of minutes every night. I know he's 5,800, but and also the last 2 games completely saved by steals. I mean, 8 steals in his last 2 games.
Where did the Caleb Martin go that beat the Celtics in the playoffs a couple years ago? That's what I want.
Well, that Caleb Martin was that was obviously just an aberration. Flash in the pan series.
It's not even
shooting. Yeah, the shooting was a literal, not like just one of those like moments where that happened and it won't happen again. But like he's going to play as many minutes as he can handle if this game is competitive. So maybe some more opportunity for him on the floor tonight, just considering again they're down their best 3 players.
Carlisle on Obi Toppin playing tonight. Possibly, we hope so.
Thanks, Rick. Appreciate it.
So keep that into consideration with Obi Toppin tonight, more so for Jarius Walker than anything else.
Yeah.
Tari's 5K, we've talked about that. Aaron Wiggins, we've talked about. Jeremiah Robinson Earl's $4,400.
Yeah, I would just play Yabo.
Well, Yabo. Okay.
I mean, dude, he has been so good this year. And I don't know if Bona's going to be the starter. I assume it's Yabusele. That's the guy per minute. And you know what? It's a tough matchup. It's what he had in every Olympic game that got him this contract. He's been really good this year in general. So he's definitely foul happy, but I'm not fading him because of potential fouls. I'm going to roster him, and there's a chance that he plays mid 30s minutes and just he's a really good passer.
Yeah.
Really good rebounder. So Yabusele is live for a monster night.
Yeah, I mean, the potential will be there. The matchup is obviously terrible. Allen is opportunity.
But it's just they just have opportunity, right? We say the matchup is terrible, but they're missing a bunch of guys. They're missing 3 players and their backup center.
I hear you. I agree with you. He'll have opportunities. It's just not obviously an easy task. Nurse is still talking, by the way. Paul George no longer on a minutes restriction when they play Friday. So
why wouldn't he? I mean, just use him today.
I wish.
Use him as no minutes restriction today.
Yeah, no kidding. Clowney here. So 3,600, no Simmons, no DFS. Played 20 minutes. Obviously, he had 5 threes. I don't know. We're expecting that again, but will be opportunities for Noah Clowney to play tonight.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I'm a little indifferent about it, but like you said, he's going to play and operate as your backup 4 and 5. 20 minutes is a solid roll off the bench. maybe a little bit more now with Simmons out as well, not just Finney Smith. So yeah, I'm okay with it. That's all I have. I don't have like much of an opinion after. I'm okay.
Right. Was there anything else for you here?
No.
Okay. Was Mo Wagner just a center? Probably.
Yeah, he's a power forward on FanDuel, but he's.
Okay. Center, we got Victor Wembanyama, as we talked about. He went for 70, 34-14. After James has talked about his bad rebounding, he is grabbing every rebound.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Good. I'm happy for him to use his elastic arms, right? Like he has arms that are longer than that stretch from one side of the stadium to the other. So you know what? Good job on you for using them.
I would agree with you there. I like Towns a lot tonight, especially if there's no Brunson.
He has been so good. He has been good. He has been good.
Jerome, we love you on the show, man. Love you tuning in. Happy to have you with us, my guy.
For all those that are just joining, hit the thumbs up button.
Hey, hit that hit that thumbs up button. Free way to support the work we do here. If you want to go try out Fantasy Alarm, we got the 7-day free trial. FantasyAlarm.com/win. 7 days for free. Sign up and check us out. Again, Şengün, Towns, Jalen Williams. Another maybe sneaky prop, or maybe I'm overthinking it, but Jalen Williams, first quarter rebounds, 1.5.
All right. Well, let's do this.
He's their starting center.
He is. He's also their early sub.
Right. But he subbed back in at the end of the first quarter in that game too.
Okay.
1.5 rebounds he needs. He had 4 in the first quarter.
He's good. He's also good rebounding, like with Chet. Yeah. Like with Chet active, he's good.
And he's going up against a team that also doesn't really have a. They'll play Messi, obviously, but like.
He actually didn't even really early sub. He played the first 7:30.
And he came in for the last.
He had 4 rebounds. That was like 34 seconds. Yeah. 30, yeah.
But that's 34 seconds of rebound opportunity. So
8 minutes. That's 8 minutes total. So 8 minutes and 1 second he played.
I'm saying we need 2 rebounds out of Jalen Williams here tonight to get the over 1.5. So I'm in. Great tier of centers.
Great tier.
Vucevic, Zubac, Jalen Williams, Şengün, Towns. You can play any one of them. Obviously, Towns has the pace-up spot against Chicago. If there's no Brunson, even more to him. He's been ridiculously good. And they're still not pricing him at 9K yet. So
it's just kind of, pick your poison. I'd have a hard time getting away from Şengün if there's no Van Vliet. I've talked about on the pre-show. That hasn't changed. Love Jalen Williams, obviously. He's just a mismatch nightmare. If, when they're running him at center, that is a nightmare for anybody. Zubac is just what he is at this point. We talked about Norm taking the next step. This guy has taken a monster step.
We're in it with him though, right?
It's the minutes. It's the minutes. Yeah. And I think last game kind of solidified it for us, right? OKC not playing a center, like forcing Ty Lue's hand. Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to take him off the floor? Nope. I'm just going to dominate you. And he gave him 22 and 14 over 35 minutes. So yeah, I love Zubac. Vooch is obviously super safe. You mentioned Towns. He's been so good. So good. So yeah, there's no issues at all in the 8K tier.
On FanDuel, Sabonis is 9,700 and AD is 11-1. Both of them also have power forward eligibility. Thank you, FanDuel. So you can play them in either spot. AD's got Memphis at home, Sacramento home versus Phoenix. Yusuf Nurkic is in tonight for Phoenix. What are your thoughts here?
We have a 45-second segment.
Yeah, we're using it right now. He asked.
Dude, let me. Come on. I know, but I had to start the timer.
All right, here we go. Give him the 45 seconds.
All right. Well, I didn't read the question, so we're already behind.
80 years
man, this FanDuel segment stinks. The preference is on FanDuel is AD if like the salary doesn't matter because obviously they're.
Yeah, it's about $1,400 difference.
Yeah, if the gap doesn't, it's the Anthony Davis is the answer. So
okay,
I'm not going to let the timer go off.
Yeah,
Because my dogs,
where does AD relate to you to Wemby, Giannis, and SGA as a spend up today?
8 seconds left.
He is more expensive than SGA, cheaper than Giannis and Wemby by $400.
Oh, sorry, timer's done. Can't talk about it. No. Where does he relate in terms of everyone? I mean, he's up there. Obviously, he's said he's fine with the eye thing. This is not the first time he's had.
Yeah, people thought he was going to go out there wearing goggles tonight, which would have been.
Yeah, he said no. He's like, no, I'm not wearing goggles. I mean, I definitely think he's up there. I think Giannis. I'm doubling down, kind of as what we said last night. I think Giannis is the best spend of the day. Wemby's ceiling is obviously on FanDuel unmatched. And I probably put him on that like third tier with Shea on FanDuel specifically. But Shea also has infinite block and steal upside as well. So I would probably rank him third, possibly fourth amongst the spend ups.
Okay. Yabusele for the win, says straight cash homie. Yeah, possibly. Jared Allen still a game time decision for tonight. Just sit him out so we can play Evan Mobley, please.
I wish straight cash homie didn't have not that I salute to MJ, but I wish he had a picture of Randy Moss.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Derrick Rose.
Well, that's also great, but straight cash homie is
Sam Merrill out tonight for Cleveland.
So Jared Allen news incoming, maybe possibly.
Well, I just said he's a game time decision still. Okay. So we'll see if any additional news come out there. But no Merrill tonight. All right, other centers here. I like Miles Turner is fine. 6,400 had this matchup the other day. Didn't have any problems with it. 39 fantasy points. They just leave him in this mid 6K tier. He's got 50 plus fantasy point potential.
He is a super high ceiling player with a really safe floor, and the only thing that he could lose out a few minutes on is Obi Toppin being active.
Right? Toppin is active, by the way.
No, I know, I saw, but I'm saying could lose out on a few minutes if they go small ball center. But still, a 39-minute ceiling for Miles Turner's.
Ty Jerome possibly going to be a sighting here tonight, says Andrew. Already playing Ty Jerome.
Already playing. Yeah, I mean,
could be more minutes go his way.
Dude, big news right there. Evan Mobley now a game time decision. So
I'm telling you, they're looking at what Philly's doing, and they're like, you know what?
Yeah, but also they're 12-0.
Handshake agreement. Yeah, that's even more of a reason they don't need to push it. Handshake agreement. One of those two are going to sit tonight, I bet. No way both get active.
Oh, I can't wait for a Dean Wade, George's knee.
And honestly, since Allen went through shoot around and Evan Mobley's sort of the late questionable, would it shock you if Evan Mobley is the one that sits out and they go like Georges Niang or something like that tonight?
Let me ask you this. If Mobley sits, Jared Allen is $7,000.
Yeah.
What's your interest level in Jared Allen if he plays?
I would play him.
He'd be really interesting, right? Like smaller Yabusele.
I was going to play whichever Cav guy was active if the other one was not. Automatically, they were going to go in my lineup tonight. So I think they both can dominate this matchup.
Yeah, this is why I think you need to be higher on Philly because you want to. I see you want it.
I don't want to play Philly. I don't have to want to play Philly to want to play Evan Mobley because I think in 32 minutes he can have a 20 and 15 game.
Okay.
Des saying Niang revenge. Could be a Niang revenge game.
Georges Niang is soon to be on a revenge tour against every team because that man is playing for a lot of teams the last few years.
Lonzo says he plans to play on Friday.
Salute to the GOAT.
10 minutes coming away. Duran, Claxton here at 61 and 6K. Both should play minutes, over 30 minutes for both of them, I would imagine here.
Yep.
What do you think? Goga? Just going to keep playing?
They trolled with his minutes last night. I'm so mad.
I mean,
so mad.
There's always a risk, right? But there's a better opportunity probably for him to play tonight. Misi, 30 minutes for him, 17 and 11. It's about the only real center they have on that team.
Wow, now you're throwing shade at Daniel Tice. We finally got here.
Well, we're here. Mo Wagner, I'm a fan of.
Yep.
Minutes
good
are good.
Tournaments. Yeah, he's
good tournaments.
Good tournaments.
We're assuming, we don't know yet, but we're assuming it's Neemias Queta here with no Al Horford. We don't have the official starting lineup, but it has been Queta in the past. Played 21 minutes without taking a shot. Not great. He also played Brooklyn last time and took just 2 shots in 27 minutes. So, that's a bit concerning. Like rebounds and blocks have been good.
He needs to get offense himself. He's not finding offense.
He needs rebounds. He needs offensive rebounds. And
exactly. He is not getting he could be standing right there and Jaylen Brown's like, nah. I love you, but I'm gonna take the shot.
Yeah. So I agree with you.
What about Bona? What about Bona at 3K?
I mean, I don't know. If they said maybe he'd play.
I feel like he has to.
They obviously need him to, but they may not. If Philly Cleveland sits everybody, they might not need Bona for more than a couple of minutes there.
I'm trying to see what
Montgomery Sharp's fine. I think Scoot's the play or Banton's the play there with no Simmons tonight.
I do like the role that Shaedon Sharp had last night. He played over 30 minutes. He's starting. He played over 30 minutes. And on FanDuel, he's shooting guard small forward at $4,500.
Yeah.
That's
they're all going to be cheap over there, I bet. So
yeah, they are. They are but he's the same price as Delano Banton, right? And Sharp is presumably your starter. Scoot still despite the Simons absence after 5 minutes, Scoot played 20 minutes. I know he was actually pretty good in his 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Shaedon Sharp started and played 32.
Scoot they subbed in Delano Banton when Simons went out. It was the Banton that's played the minutes.
What if Banton starts and Scoot doesn't? Is that still your opinion? Do you still? Because I would I'm not saying Scoot's
I would play. I like Banton anyways. I just assume Scoot would be the guy to start. But if Banton starts, then yeah, I'd obviously downgrade. That commentary is based off Scoot Henderson starting. If he doesn't start, right, I'd rather just play Banton regardless. So
yeah, and for the record, I do the positional eligibility for Shaedon Sharp at $4,500. If he's going to play 30 minutes, I think is really appealing.
I mean, he
is starting at center.
He is their starting center. So give them at least some credit, even though I had a fight with them or FanDuel, I guess. I fought with for years to get Pascal Siakam changed from
small forward. Wasn't he small forward or something like that?
Yeah, they had him and OG or him and Kawhi or DeRozan or whatever the combination was at the same spot. This is when they didn't have dual positional eligibility, when it was better. It was way better when you only had one position. I was like, they can't both start at the same position. You guys are killing me. All right. Got that there. Any other plays for you? Probably no, right?
No, Yabusele.
What did they do with Jefferson? He played 10 minutes in that game.
Something I was thinking about earlier, and I think this is a possibility, so we could just talk through it real quick. This could be a spot where Detroit goes double big against Milwaukee, and they start Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart.
Sure.
Because it's Giannis, Brook Lopez.
And I've had that power forward last year, right? So
yeah, and I've had that thought all day, kind of even with the Sasser ownership, where if Toby is your starting four, that's a little worrisome. Not to say Stewart can even hang with Giannis or whatnot, but it at least presents the size, a little better size to match up with their front court. So that was a thought. So if Stewart were to start, I wouldn't hate it. I would like Jalen Duren. And I think Paul Reed would be a dart throw in that case, because we know Jalen Duren is also foul happy. We know Isaiah Stewart's foul happy. So if we were to get a situation where Beasley starts, they move Stewart to the 4, they put Harris at the 3, and Ron Holland's still coming off the bench, well, then I think there's a scenario where Isaiah Stewart, who's been really, really good on a per minute basis, 3 straight games with 30 plus fantasy points. Even last night, only played 23 minutes, still had 30. Isaiah Stewart would be a little bit more interesting at 5,300. If we were to get that double big Pistons lineup, that I think is a possibility tonight.
Yeah, I agree with you. Some updated ownership. Yabu's still getting 20% here tonight. So obviously a bigger bump but not like a whole bunch of people looking to get to Yabu here. So we'll see. We'll see what it is. Again, we still have some time before roster lock. Let's get our lineup built here. Where are we starting things off tonight?
Ryan Rollins, 3K.
Got it, right?
Probably McCain, Beasley in some iteration of like those two plays. I think are both like really solid values. And then like I know you want Shea.
Well, I'm fine with Giannis as well. Shea is just getting the lesser rostership of the
Right
end-ups. So
right.
But I mean, honestly, 14.5 point spread. I don't love that for Shea.
Yeah.
I think I'd rather just go back to Giannis, truthfully, and just play
Me
and
too.
plug.
Me too.
And if he does it to us again, then that's our fault, right? That's on him. Actually, I'll just keep throwing that on him.
Yeah, we don't.
67 a play. We still have plenty of value we could get to. I like Josh Hart here though.
Okay.
67.
Would you play Kade, or do you think is Kade someone that you would like go in on at $9,000, or do you?
No, I'm good with Kade. Kade, let me do another value play down here. Would you triple up and go Holland? Like, would you?
I'm not against Holland, but we just need to know he's starting. I feel better if he's starting, obviously.
Okay, get Dort down here at 47. I'm trying to get us. So let's build.
What center do you want to play?
As I say, let's build backwards here. You like Şengün. You can't really get off of him.
Well, I think the offense just runs through him if there's no Van Vliet. So like that's more contingent on the Van Vliet stuff than it is.
I mean, if you play Şengün and Van Vliet plays, you just pivot to Zubac.
Yeah, that could be fine. Or
that would give us 3,100 though. We would need to play Holland at that point.
It would have to be Holland. Which again, he's 3K is one of the most popular.
Could go down to Miles Turner, 64.
I think Miles Turner is extremely safe. Always. Just death taxes. If I need a center, plug in Miles Turner.
I don't know, do like Dort here or something like that.
Yeah.
Or actually, you mean we might as well, right?
Go to Yabusele. Yes.
All right. Example lineup: Rollins, Beasley, Hart, Giannis, Turner, McCain, Yabu, and Cunningham. We could also throw Yabu at center and get a forward at 68.
Do that.
See what that looks like. See what that looks like here. Forward 69. Nice. Toby Matherin.
So it's Matherin, Yabo, or Turner Yabo.
Yeah. How does that math work? Oh, we got $900 left over.
One Indiana player or the other Indiana player.
Yeah, but one gives us way more money left over.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter.
I know. I mean, Matherin was obviously showing the higher ceiling here, so. Town just got a big ownership move.
Kade or Clingain.
So Towns
has to be.
The last update that just now came through. Towns is now the third highest rostered player on the slate.
That is people assuming Jalen Brunson is not going to play through a sprained ankle.
And the highest
100%.
And the biggest pace up spot as well.
In the biggest pace up spot on the board. I mean, I'm not.
Would you play Towns over Cunningham in that spot then?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a great spot. Like, I think if Brunson or Towns sits, you can legitimately make a case to play like 4 Knicks. No?
Sure. Yeah.
Because you're clearly playing McBride. You're playing Towns. You know Hart's going to play 40 minutes, and you're likely going to get OG 40 minutes. Like, there's a legitimate case to play 4 of them. Like, if Brunson does not play, you could play any iteration of Knicks starting lineup that you possibly can. You really can. I mean, you can just knowing what the Knicks are and what they do for minutes and rotations. Like, if Brunson doesn't play, it's hard to just like be like this Knick or someone else. It's just like I'll take the Knicks versus the field at that point because I'm guaranteeing myself 1, the pace is as good as it gets, and 2, 40 plus minutes. So seeing the ownership shift to Towns that way is obviously an indication of where the field thinks and what it's shifting to. So yeah, I mean, if Mick Jordan, exactly, you'd almost have to plug and play McBride in part of your lineup. I mean, he's a shooter. We would just obviously play him over Beasley in this lineup. Like, it's not.
Would you play him over Beasley, or would you still play Beasley? I might play him over McCain.
I mean, I don't care. I mean, you and I have a different opinion on the Sixers tonight, so that's where we would do
Well, that's also true.
I'm not shying away from Philly. You are. So that's where we would differ on the McCain front. Fred VanVleet will play.
Okay. Which is good. That takes us off of worrying about Houston and the Houston guys.
Klingain over Kade. Yeah, sorry if my mic cut out. I tried to fix my mic today. I hope it's been better for everyone. I know it's been a headache for everyone to listen to, and I apologize for that.
So we didn't really adjust much here. We could go Towns there. We give us 5,500 for a util.
Hate this range.
Yeah, so do I. Like, I don't mind Levert, honestly.
Levert probably sees a few extra minutes with Sam Merrill not playing.
Yeah.
But it's not like the best tier.
Yeah, so we can play around with it. Obviously, we go back to Yabu here, and we'll go with Kade. And we'll wait on the news, right? We'll see what happens. We got $900 left over. Something big is going to break in the next hour.
Yep.
Next 20 minutes, hopefully.
Knicks 7:30. So we should know. Like,
I'm hopeful it's not 7:01. We had that happen with Memphis this year. It was like 7:01, and everybody was locked out. So don't play Indiana Orlando tonight if you care about the Knicks situation, right?
Right.
Ryan Rollins unlikely to play.
Aye.
Says Doc Rivers. So.
To be fair, Doc did give us a starting lineup like pretty soon after yesterday when we got all that news. Like, so we should know who's going to start for him probably in the next few seconds.
Yeah. Ryan Rollins is most likely out is the exact phrasing. Most likely out. $3,900 util would be just plug in Zaire for now.
DeLon Wright.
Ty Jerome. Ty Jerome could get blowout run here tonight against Philly and just go ham. I'll plug that in. Hey, you wanted me to play Cleveland, right?
No.
Anyways, that's an 8:00 game, so you'll get the information up there.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. There's an example lineup taking Rollins out of the lineup. So we'll have an ownership update for that too, because he was the highest roster player on the slate until that bit of news right there. So guys, once again, we appreciate you all tuning in. Only one game tomorrow, so we will not have any shows. We will be back for Friday, preview show and live at 5. So make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and share button. Good luck with your lineups. Get us on Twitter. Follow us at Impemba777 and at _real_grande. Get in our Discord, join the free trial, do all the cool things. We'll be with you guys. Any interest in Beasley? Yeah, Willie B, he's in our lineup. He's right here. We're playing some Beasley tonight, my friend. Don't you worry about that. Good luck with your lineups here, guys. We'll talk to you later.